All right, Battle Buddies, here we go. So today's lesson is based on your team, okay? Now, I've spoke about this in the past, but I want you to give this some great consideration when you're going into a job interview, okay? Now, as you've all seen, it's no secret, it's the worst kept secret on Facebook. We don't allow memes on the page, and that's because they serve as a nothing. They're distractive. There's literally no reason to have them on a page because what happens is all of a sudden they become subjective, right? And they can become vicious and mean. I've seen it with my own friends attacked in very disgusting manners. So the policy is no memes. Now, the reason for that is because on all high performing teams, there are 5 major roles, okay? And those who post memes tend to be in one of these 5 categories. And I'll get to that in a second. So, when you go in front of a hiring manager, you need to know how this team structure is and how you fit in. And if all 5 of these components are not on that team, chances are you're going to have a team that doesn't quite perform as well as it needs to. So number 1, obviously, would be the leader, right? Everybody knows what the leader is. You're responsible for everything, right? And if you are successful as a leader, your team gets 100% of the credit. And if you're not successful, you own it, right? Because that's where the buck stops, is with you, the leader. All right. Then you have your backup, right? Your number 2. Your number 2 isn't like this. These things aren't in some sort of hierarchy. It may appear as though there's a hierarchy from the street, but all of these team members are on a level playing field, as hard as that may be to believe, because it's a symbiotic relationship, okay? So your lieutenant, your number 2, that person, that human that you bounce everything off of, right? This is the I got your 6 guy, the one that's watching your shit in the backside. That person is watching every single blind spot that you've got, and they're calling out those targets. Hey, dude, have you thought about this? Ooh, geez, thanks. No, didn't. Here, let's write that down. Let's take some action items on it, and let's solve the problem, right? Okay, then you got the technician, the nerd. You got that guy that understands every single component of this headset. They understand like the tensile strength that's inside of this pen and why that spring material is the right one as far as durability, performance, all this other nonsense. It's just a spring, right, guys? But there is some nerd sitting in his mom's basement playing World of Warcraft or whatever nerds do these days, have figured out how to make sure that this writing device that I picked up for under $10 at Costco, because they're out of toilet paper, made sure that this works awesome. You always have the nerd, always. Watch Scooby-Doo. Watch Finding Bigfoot. You see all 5 of these roles every single time. Okay? Then you have the enforcer fella, right? That's that grumpy guy. That grumpy guy is actually serving in a servant leadership role, okay? He puts the best place to see the enforcer is out on the ice in hockey, okay? Dude might not be the most talented guys when it comes to intellect and skating abilities, but he's got this, right? In the corporate world, you're not going to go around busting people's teeth out, but you always do have Karen who comes in and she's the fun police, right? She wrecks everything for everyone. Why can't we do this? Because it's against policy or whatever it happens to be. All right? Then you've got the Joker, okay? To me, people that personally know me, they know that I function pretty well in this role. I function in the other 4 pretty well. I can be the Joker, okay? when you're a vet, you subconsciously recognize, and I don't need to explain what Joker is. That's the meme guy. That's the one that takes all this recycled shit, puts it on the page, thinks it's funny, didn't make it himself, thinks if he gets some good laughs out of people, it's gonna somehow, get him jobs. I haven't seen it yet. Anyway, possible, right? Prove me wrong. Anything's possible. Okay, so where I'm going with this, though, all right, is you at such a young age, 17, 18, 19 years old, if you're enlisted, 22-ish, 25 on the officer side, you're thrown into this crazy, crazy world early on. And what happens is you naturally have all of these different roles on a team rise up to the top, right? Look at the A-team, B.A. Baracus and shit, right? And Murdoch, the nerd. You got all of these roles that naturally happen. And when you're on these interviews and you're talking to the team, the whoever you're going to hire, or whoever's going to hire you, ask them, hey, who's your number 2 guy? Who's the guy who kind of laughs and jokes around and stuff? Oh, you don't have that? Who's your most technical fella on this team? You need to know, okay, because that should really set the tone for the interview that you're about to find yourself on. So, don't go in with kind of what I call a typical vet mentality of, oh, everybody's got to stick up their ass, corporate bullshit going on in here. I'm going to come in and be the Joker. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go into the Joker role. Nobody really likes that unless it's for Acme Comedy Club. So, if you're going into a scientific role, find out who you can learn from, right? If the team is bigger, if there's 10, 12 people on the team, you want to know where the soft spots are on that team so that you can discover, find out if your being, what you are on the inside, matches up with what they're looking for when it comes down to the team. Because if you come in and there's already 17 jokers in there and there's no technical people, chances are you're going to be looking for a new job in 6 months anyways. If this guy is that corporate stick in the mud guy and he does have something jammed up his butt and he doesn't like jokers on the team, well, don't find yourself 6 months down the road looking for a job because they bounced you out of there because you just weren't a good team fit. So, I hope this makes some sense to you. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for bringing people here, guys. This has been really great. We're going to keep on pushing this stuff out to YouTube so you can share it outside of the Facebook platform since this is a closed group. Not everybody has Facebook these days. Apparently, this is the minimum gray level that you have to have, kind of, to be on Facebook. Over 40, I guess. So we got a ton of vets under 40. So keep on bringing people here so we can get them, at least share this information that we put out so they can have an easier time in their transition so it doesn't take 27 years like yours truly to start figuring this shit out. Anyway, have a great day. Thanks a lot, Battle Buddies. Take care and keep on bringing people here so we can get them that support that they need. Thanks.